Hey guys, I wanted to shoot a really quick video about maintaining your flute. This is a really common thing that people ask me all the time. How much oil should I put on my flute? How often should I swab out the inside of my flute? How often should I wax my flute? These are all things people ask. The real short answer is never. They don't need to be oiled or waxed. They're coated inside and out with oil-based polyurethane varnish, which is a pretty water-resistant, if not waterproof, varnish, and it is very, very durable. So you actually don't need to put any oil in your flute at all. Flute oiling kits are designed for flutes that have not been sealed inside. If you put oil inside of your flute, inside of your stellar flute, what's going to happen is you'll have oil inside of your flute that isn't absorbing into the wood, and it will possibly cause other kinds of problems like dust. If dust settles in the oil, then you're going to have a mucky mess inside your flute. So I really, really don't recommend putting oil in your flute. You could wax your flute. If you're somebody that plays your flute a lot, one thing that I've noticed on flutes that we get back that are very old, sometimes people will break their flute and send it back to us to have it repaired, and I'll notice that the varnish, the fingering holes, is actually worn away from people touching their flute so much. This is probably not a very common thing to have happen. This is probably something that happens if you play your flute all the time. So we don't see a lot of them that are that way. But if you are playing your flute all the time and you want to put a little bit of beeswax on the fingering holes and on the mouth end and underneath the block, and then use like a soft cloth or a bit of mesh netting that you can get at a craft store, you can buff it out and shine it back up. And that is, beeswax does a really good job of protecting wood in general. It's probably one of the most waterproof finishes that you could apply, and it's really nice smelling too. But other than that, to maintenance your flute, all you need to do is take the block off when you're finished playing. You might get some moisture underneath it. Wipe that off with a cloth. Wipe the deck off with a cloth. Shake your flute after you're done playing it. This gets all the moisture out. And if there's any droplets, wipe that off. Wipe off the mouth end. If you are worried about germs, or if you're letting other people play your flute and you want to wipe it off with like a wet wipe or a mild soapy solution and then dry it afterwards, that's a good idea. And I usually do recommend that people leave the block off when they're finished playing their flute. It just helps to keep the wood happy and keep the wood dry, which is what it wants to be. Even though it is sealed inside and out, it's probably going to just be better for the flute in general to not have moisture sitting in that rear chamber where it can't breathe at all. So I hope that's helpful. If you have questions, leave them in the comments, or email me. We answer emails 100 times a day, so I hope that's helpful. Thanks.